Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tickets Towards Success podcast. I'm your host, Tucker Nunakoven. Here we talk about health, fitness, finance, and the mindset needed to thrive in all areas of life. I want to thank you for tuning in today for episode 24 of the Tickets Towards Success podcast. We're almost to 25, almost to 30, and the goal for this year was to hit 40 episodes. So that will be special. Almost there, more than halfway. But today's episode, we're going to talk about the hybrid athlete, training like an athlete, someone who's chasing strength and endurance goals. If you feel like an athlete and look athletic year round, this episode is for you. And if you're wanting to know how to do that, this episode is also for you. What to expect for today on the agenda. What is a hybrid athlete? I'm just going to briefly discuss that. We're also going to talk about the key challenges of combining strength and endurance training, how to structure weekly training for both strength and endurance, how nutrition and recovery play a really big part if you are trying to train like this, the challenges of training like an athlete, and then I'm also going to share, of course, my personal experience of hybrid training for the past 2 years. If you do enjoy this episode today, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, drop a comment, and let me know what you thought. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you want to see more episodes like this in the future? Do you not want to see these at all? What do you want to see? Let me know down in the comments and share it with someone that you think might benefit from these insights as well. And I thank you in advance for doing that. Let's jump into today's episode. What is a hybrid athlete? Like I just said, it's just a term. But the correct definition of a hybrid athlete is someone who doesn't specialize in just one fitness area. They blend strength and endurance to create athletic performance, versatility, high-performing body. There's someone that wants to do it all. I would say that the hybrid athlete term became very popular with Nick Bare, someone that I mention a lot on the podcast, someone that I look up to, someone that is highly respected in not only the hybrid athlete community, but just the fitness community as well. I personally believe, a lot of people believe this, that he really blew up that hybrid athlete term on social media when his content took off, his business took off, 4 or 5 years ago. And lately I've been seeing that it's been getting a kind of a love-hate relationship online. A lot of people are embracing the hybrid athlete lifestyle. A lot of people are not falling for the trend, if you want to say that's what it is. A lot of people are sick of seeing people saying that they're a hybrid athlete, that they train like a hybrid athlete. I would say that I don't necessarily, me personally, identify as a hybrid athlete. I would say in the beginning, I kind of followed the trend, but now I just look at it as training like an athlete and being in the best shape possible. I will say, though, that the one thing that hybrid athlete training has brought me is I've learned so much about endurance, so much about running, how to actually enjoy running, the benefits of running. And right now, having running restricted in my life, it's hard to not be able to go out and run 3, 4, 5, 6 miles because it's almost like my therapy. And I feel like it's like that for a lot of people. So that is one thing that hybrid athlete training has brought me, and that I'm very grateful that I fell for that trend so I could research it, look into it, learn it, and develop those skills to have that endurance training structured into my life. But like I said, I don't necessarily identify as a hybrid athlete. I just want to train like an athlete and build the best physique and the healthiest body that I can. And it's where I feel my best. I feel my best when I'm lean, eating nutrient dense meals, healthy whole foods meals, training like an athlete for endurance, strength, mobility, recovery, everything. That's when I feel my best. So that's why I choose that route. Now, traditionally, the hybrid athlete is someone that can run a good time in a marathon. What is a good time? Sub 4 hours, sub 3.5, sub 3 is very, very good. That qualifies you for Boston more than likely. And it's also someone who can deadlift a high weight, usually 2 times their body weight. That's traditionally. Now, do you have to be able to do this to be considered a hybrid athlete? I would say no. I can't do this. I've never ran a marathon, and I certainly can't deadlift 2 times my body weight right now, especially with sciatica and a herniated disc going on. But take that as you will. What is your definition of a hybrid athlete? Drop a comment. Let me know what your definition is of the hybrid athlete and what your thoughts on it are. I would love to hear everyone's opinion that listens to this episode. But to me, like I said, it doesn't just mean lifting heavy and running far. This also includes explosiveness, mobility, having a well-rounded body. For example, I don't necessarily lift all that heavy. I lift for the health benefits, to gain and lean muscle, to burn calories, to feel fit. But I don't necessarily lift heavy. I'm not squatting 350 pounds. I'm not deadlifting 500 pounds. I'm not benching 300 pounds. I can't even bench 250. I don't even know if I can bench 225, to be honest with you. But that doesn't really bother me. I like the way I feel. I like the way I look. And I think that I'm in pretty decent shape. My Garmin thinks so as well. I'm 25. It says my fitness age is 19. I'll take that. But being a hybrid athlete isn't just about being the best at one thing. It's about being versatile. That is the key. Being able to do a marathon, bodybuilding competition, maybe run a 50-mile ultra, do a triathlon, swim, bike. It's being able to do everything. For example, I have a lot of friends that do CrossFit. And when I go home, sometimes I like to work out with them. So while I'm not doing Olympic lifts, sometimes we'll throw in like an EMOM workout in there or an AMRAP, which is traditionally CrossFit workouts. It's not always been, it's not just specifically for CrossFit, but they do a lot of those workouts in their programs. So I'm able to go and do that. Am I going to have the best time? Am I going to beat them? No, more than likely not. But I guarantee I can compete with the people that are there. So that is what is a hybrid athlete. That's what it's about, being versatile. You're strong, fast, durable, and your body is built for performance, not just aesthetics. Now, the mentality matters as well. Hybrid athletes have to train with the mindset of an all-around competitor. A lot of people that are getting into this type of training have high competitiveness in themselves. Discipline, grit, and a desire to challenge their bodies and to challenge their limits mentally and physically. That is what a hybrid athlete is traditionally, and what you make of it. It's not necessarily sticking to what everyone else says it is. It's putting it in your own words and figuring out that definition for yourself. Now, there are a few challenges of hybrid athlete training. I would say that there's actually probably more than a few. Because when you're balancing strength and endurance, It really is not easy. It takes a lot of mental capacity. It takes a lot of physical energy. It takes a lot of time, which is so, so crucial in life. And the strength and endurance, they often compete with one another on a cellular level. And here's why. Strength training demands high intensity and fast twitch muscle fiber recruitment, while endurance training demands slow twitch endurance, which can compete for energy and recovery. They're both very, very different. Now, in most endurance training, you will incorporate speed work, which that's going to be fast twitch muscle fibers as well. But most of your endurance training is going to be sitting in zone 2 and easy runs and building your anaerobic base and building up that endurance. But don't worry, it's not impossible. The key is having smart programming, very, very intentional recovery, and having a dialed in mindset that you know exactly what you're doing. You've done the research, you know the mindset you need, and you're going into it with the correct mindset as well. There's different ways that you can actually structure a hybrid training. The foundation of hybrid training is a mixture of balance and purpose. What are you training for? What are your goals? And how can you make sure that you're balancing not only life and training, but balancing endurance and strength training as well? You need a plan that doesn't burn you out or lead to injury. Please trust me when I give you these principles to follow, because I have burnt myself out from hybrid training from following incorrect structures. I have gotten injured, which I'm working through right now. And I'm learning every single day more and more and more about this training structure, because it's so complex and it takes so much out of you and drains you so much. It's not for everyone. But the principles that you can follow: number 1, prioritize what you want to improve most. If you come from a strength training background and you want to improve endurance, prioritize your endurance training the most. And you can do that vice versa. If you're coming from endurance background and you want to get more into strength training, prioritize the strength training. Learn everything there is to know about it. Learn how to recover properly, learn how to fuel properly, and go from there. If you're training for a marathon, make endurance that focus, if that's one of your goals, and so on and so on. Number 2, separate strength and endurance by time. This can be tough, because if you are working a normal job and you want to get up early and get all your workouts done before you go to work, or if you work a job that has some kind of different kind of schedule where maybe you go into work from 11 to 8 and so you want to work out twice in the morning, that's fine. But traditionally, and the best way to do this type of training is to separate the strength and endurance workouts by time. Try to space them out 6 to 8 hours apart, or even do them on separate days. You know, there's going to be some training structures, especially early on, where you're not having 2-a-days, where you're just maybe running one day and then lifting the next. It really depends on your level of fitness, your level of training, and where you're at when you start this training. Number 3, recovery must match the intensity of all of your workouts. More output equals more sleep, more protein, more mobility, and stretching. This is the hardest part in my opinion, because you're already sacrificing so much time to endurance and to strength training. It is very difficult to fit in mobility, stretching. Protein, that's an easy one, because you just have to focus on all of your meals being high in protein. And then more sleep, that's another tough one. Now, I will say, if you are someone that strictly is just training, you're not really working on maybe another side hustle or a side business, you should be able to get comfortably 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. Will say for me, it is very, very tough because I train, I work on this podcast, I post content. It can be difficult to get more sleep, and it's something that I'm trying to improve. It's just very, very hard to fit all of this. And that is a big struggle with hybrid athlete training. But if you're someone that is focusing just on training, it is possible, and you should be getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and you should be able to fit in mobility and stretching. Now, I have an example here for intermediate of a 5-day hybrid training split. I have ran this split before. It is tough because it requires a lot of time and energy. And we're just going to start on day 1. And I'm going to say that that's Monday. So we're just going to go Monday through Sunday, but it's going to be day 1, day 2, day 3. So day 1 would be an easy run plus strength training, which is you could do chest and tries, for example. Day 2 will be strength training, and that would be back and biceps. Day 3 would be a speed workout. So it could be a track workout, tempo workout, critical velocity, and then also strength training in the form of legs. Day 4 could just be active recovery and a lot of mobility and rest. Day 5 is just strength, and that could be arms. Day 6 would be your long run Saturdays, the best days to do long runs. That could be zone 2, strictly for all the miles, or you could do some easy run or some zone 2, and then also add some intervals in there, depending on what your training program might be asking for. Day 7 would be active recovery as well, with mobility and rest. Clearly, you're also trying to fit mobility and stretching into all of these days. I would always recommend just stretching 5 to 10 minutes after you run or after you lift, maybe just rolling out a little bit, trying to fit it in wherever you can. Like I said, this is a tough split, a lot of time, a lot of energy. I've ran this in the past, and it's very, very rewarding, especially when you're consistent with it, but it takes a toll on you physically and mentally. And here's another split that I was actually running during my marathon prep. So through the whole month of March, this is the split that I was running. And I wanted to mention too that if you're training for something specific like a race or a bodybuilding competition, get an app, a training app like Runna, or you can do, Nick Bear also has his app. He has a new one and an old one. So you can kind of go back and pick between those two. They have specific training programs in there based off where you're at physically. And you can really build a good like marathon training program on there, or half marathon, whatever you're really trying to do. I would always recommend doing that. I've built out a lot of mine, but that also led to a lot of burnout, and I don't think I built them quite right. So now if I'm doing any kind of race prep, I will do that through an app. I just remembered another one. You can do the Nike Run Club app. They have a bunch of running programs in there as well. In terms of strength training, I don't really know. I build all of mine out, and I just kind of go off what I learned from other people online. So, but here's that split for that marathon prep that I did. Day 1, easy run plus strength training, which was full body. Day 2 was speed workout plus mobility. Day 3 was strength in the form of legs and mobility. Day 4 was an easy run plus strength, and that was also full body. Day 5 was easy run plus mobility. Day 6 was long run, zone 2 or intervals. And then day 7 was active recovery and mobility. So that was my marathon prep split that I was running. Now, taking down the intensity for the lifting and the strength training because I'm focusing on endurance and having a solid marathon prep. That was my mindset going into it. Here is my current split for hybrid training, and it is a rehab split. And I just want to give everyone these splits on what I'm doing because it shows exactly what I'm following and exactly what I'm doing. And if you are going through an injury right now, this might work for you. Day 1, strength, push day, plus mobility. Day 2 is rehab and just walking. Day 3, I guess in terms of my rehab, it's just going through those exercises that I'm getting at PT, that I'm learning from some personal trainers. That I have friends that are personal trainers, and I've reached out to them, asked them about a few things that I can do to help with the herniated disc and the sciatica. So day 3 is going to be strength, and that's going to be legs. But that's based off what I can do. I'm obviously not going in and doing back squat and doing deadlift right now because that's just high risk to injure my back and not let it heal properly. I'm doing a lot of machine work, doing a lot of body weight stuff, just body weight squatting, like doing supersetting that with something. And I'm just trying to focus on what I can do to make sure that my legs stay strong. A lot of these I'm training till failure, depending on the lift and the exercise that I'm doing. Day 4 is going to be that rehab and walking. Day 5 is strength in the form of pull day plus mobility. Day 6 is cardio, which is either bike, air bike, or stair stepper, or maybe an EMOM or an AMRAP, depending on what I want to do that day. Day 7 is active recovery plus mobility and just rest. And keep in mind, through every single day, I'm trying to get as many steps as possible, 10,000 steps minimum, just to burn more calories and to get some extra exercise in. And I actually just started. So I built out this script a couple weeks ago, but I just got the green light to start running lightly. So on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I'm running just 1 mile as well. To kind of start to get back into the swing of running and see how it feels, to see if I experience any pain during or a lot of pain after from running. So those are just a couple of examples of the splits that I have ran in the past, that I ran for a marathon prep, and then also what I'm currently running right now. As you can see from all of these aren't necessarily, besides the first one, traditional hybrid athlete splits. They really aren't. I made most of these myself based off hybrid athlete training and what I've seen from others out there. And it's not like I'm going in every single day, training twice a day. It doesn't have to be this super time consuming thing to be a hybrid athlete. You just have to learn how to properly strength train, properly do endurance training, and you can consider yourself a hybrid athlete. But just training like an athlete is fine to call it as well, because that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Now, I will say you can do all of these splits perfect. You can be the most consistent person that's ever lived with these splits, these training splits. But you will never succeed at being a hybrid athlete or training like an athlete unless your nutrition is right. Unless if you are fueling for performance, fueling your body with nutrient-dense foods to get you through all these workouts you're doing and the level of intensity that these workouts make you have. You're doing more, so your body needs more fuel. Fueling is crucial when you're combining strength and endurance. There's a few key principles that I personally follow when I'm doing intensity or having a very intense training program, such as the hybrid athlete ones. Protein. If you want to keep muscle because you're running a lot and you want to build more lean muscle, you need to prioritize protein. 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Just make it a gram. Make it easy. This will help with muscle repair and lean muscle growth. Carbs. Don't be afraid of carbs, especially when you're training this much with this much intensity. Your endurance depends on carbs, especially beforehand, easy digestible carbs before a run, and carbs throughout the day to fuel workouts later in the day or the next day. You can't fear carbs. Fats, great for hormone function and long-term energy. The last principle, and one of the most important ones, is electrolytes and hydration. You're going to sweat so much when you train like an athlete that you have to replenish with electrolytes and water. Super, super important for running, especially long runs or just high volume days in general. If you're training twice a day, you should probably have 2 servings of electrolytes throughout that day. You will start to be able to feel when you need more electrolytes during these types of training blocks or these types of training structures, because your body will start to crave it because you need hydration. Now, how do we fuel for both strength and endurance? Pre-runs, easy digestible carbs plus electrolytes. Need them every single time. Post-run, replenish with protein, carbs, and electrolytes again, especially if you're running high volume runs, 4, 5, 6 miles, even 3 miles. Pre-lift, carbs plus protein. If you can, during long runs or high volume training, you will more than likely need electrolytes in that workout, and then also incorporating some gels or carbs during that workout. So what do I mean by high volume training? Could be a speed workout. So maybe you're bringing a gel with you to the track. Maybe you're carrying a gel with you on a tempo run or a long run. You definitely need some gels, especially if you're going 8, 9, 10, 12 miles. You need to take a gel every 30 to 45 minutes. You can do powdered based carbs like G1M Sport from BPN. There's other ones out there, but the one I use is G1M. It doesn't irritate my gut, and it fuels me for all of my runs. I usually take it before a run, and I will take it during a long run if I have a long run that day. But if you're running in a fasted state in the morning, make sure that your post-workout meal is dialed, because you need those nutrients to refuel. A lot of people do like to run fasted, and I get it. I used to do that as well until I started learning about the benefits of running fueled, until I started really digging into some research about it. And I feel better when I run with fuel in my system. Now, while fasted running can promote quicker fat loss and weight loss, if you're training endurance for a specific goal, I would always recommend training fueled. So there are a few common mistakes that hybrid athletes make, or people that go into hybrid athlete training that they make early on. The first one is doing too much too fast. Overtraining in this specific kind of training is so real, putting a lot of stress on your body. More is not always better, so avoid overtraining. Ease into it. If you come from strength training, ease into endurance. If you come from endurance, ease into strength training. Ignoring recovery is the second one. Sleep, stretching, mobility, these are all non-negotiables when you start training like a hybrid athlete. Not eating enough. People that come from different trainings besides probably CrossFit, because they have to eat a lot too, because they're burning so many calories. But if you're coming just from strength training, going into hybrid athlete training, you're going to need to start consuming a lot more. You're going to burn a lot more calories. So you're going to be able to consume a lot more, especially if you're looking to stay lean and build lean muscle. But you have to eat, because under eating will sabotage gains in both strength and endurance. The fourth one is skipping mobility work. Kind of goes with ignoring recovery, but you have to incorporate mobility. Because when you have added volume, your hips, your hamstrings, your shoulders, they all need attention and they all need care. You're going to feel your best when your mobility is at the top of its game, and you're going to see way more results. You're going to hit a lot more goals when your mobility is at its best. I will say that my injury that I'm dealing with right now has a very high chance of being from a lack of recovery and overtraining. So unfortunately, I paid the price. So please, please, please take my advice on this, because it is so crucial to take a step back and focus on those little things and try not to stress about the big things as much. If you have to cut your workouts in half, that's okay. Just figure out how you can spend 30 minutes in the gym strength training and then 30 minutes of recovery instead of doing an hour in the gym and then skipping recovery. You can do that. There's ways to do it. That's what I've been working through right now and trying to figure that out. And there are ways to do it. Like I said, I paid the price, but you don't have to if you are intentional about not making these 4 mistakes. Recover, don't overtrain, fuel correctly, and don't skip mobility. The mental edge of being a hybrid athlete. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of consistency, and a lot of failure. A lot of failure, especially when it comes to running. Running is hard. It is hard to build your aerobic base. It is hard to stay in zone 2 when you're doing an easy run to build that aerobic base, especially when you're starting out, because you feel like you're running slow. And trust me, if you get injured and then you can't run and then you have to go back to it, it's even harder. So the mentality that you have to build, and the mentality that you should strive to build when training like this, is you have to learn to push through anything that comes your way. You have to learn to accept anything that comes your way. Embrace the uncertainty. Build mental toughness. When you train like a hybrid athlete, you don't just grow physically, you sharpen your mindset every single day. You learn to push through fatigue. You develop the discipline to train when it's hard. You build resiliency when balancing multiple goals. This mindset does not just help in the gym. It doesn't help at the track. It really spills into life. When you start wanting to have a better mentality when it comes to training and fitness, you start to have a better mentality in life with the people around you, with everything else that you do in life, the people you talk to, the colleagues you work with at your normal job. You're stronger in business, relationships, and even yourself, personal development. The mindset here is critical. Know what you're getting yourself into before you start this. Because once you start it, you become addicted and you cannot get away from it. Training like an athlete isn't about chasing perfection. It's about becoming a more complete version of yourself. It's about training for longevity in life and creating a body that is able to function for years to come. That is the most important part. Strength and endurance aren't just physical qualities. They're reflections of mental toughness, discipline, and commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. This path is not easy. I've reiterated that through the entire episode. It is not easy, and it never will be, and it's never been intended to be. It requires sacrifice, intention, and a relentless pursuit of balance. But the rewards are well worth it. I've been doing this for 2 years. And although I've had my struggles, I've had my failures, I've had successes as well. You will be able to show yourself through results that you're capable of doing more than you could have ever imagined. I firmly believe that if I would have never found hybrid athlete training, that I wouldn't be sitting here today trying to build a podcast, trying to build a brand, trying to chase a marathon goal. You become durable, you become capable, and you build a body and a mindset that can handle anything that life throws your way. It is more than just a way to train. It is a way of life. So whether you're just getting started or you're already deep into the journey, remember this: train with purpose, recover properly, and never, ever settle for mediocrity. You don't have to fit into a label to train like an athlete. You don't have to consider yourself a hybrid athlete. Just show up, work hard, and chase the kind of growth that builds both your body and your character. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. It's been a great episode of the Tickets Towards Success podcast. Keep collecting tickets, guys. If you don't know what that means when I say it, go back to episode 1 of the Tickets Towards Success podcast, where I explain what it means to collect tickets in every single day of your life. So keep collecting tickets every day. Keep striving to be better than you were the day before. And I will see everyone in the next episode.